touching the lives of local people every day.
Hello and welcome back. This is Business Extra. Tonight we're meeting one of the most influential voices in business in Norfolk. Chris Sargisson is the new Chief Executive of the Norfolk Chamber of Commerce. I'll be chatting to him in just a moment, but first let's have a quick rundown of the business headlines from the week. One obvious place to start tonight, and that's Norwich Airport's 30-year development plan. They're aiming to treble their annual passengers to 1.4 million and add new routes to better connect them to the international network and create new jobs with a 100-acre business park that could make the area a real hub for flight industries.
In 2045, I hope my successor, because I don't think it'll be me, will be able to say we're handling 1.4 million passengers, but we won't have lost the local feel of the airport, so the short check-in, convenient parking, excellent customer service, short journey to your flight, and then on the way back an equally short and convenient journey, but we've offered more choice to the consumer. That's the obvious aim for the master plan, to grow us to 1.4 million passengers.
A Swedish energy group's in talks to invest in one of the region's largest ports, with the potential to create hundreds of jobs. Vattenfall, the developer of two of the world's largest offshore wind farms off the Norfolk coast, is in discussion with Peel Ports to locate its operations base for the Norfolk Vanguard and the other Norfolk Boreas projects at Great Yarmouth. It estimates investment could secure up to 150 skilled wind farm technician jobs. Organisers say Norwich's City of Ale festival is continuing to grow after they revealed that more than 55,000 pints were poured during this year's celebration. The 2017 event lasted 10 days and included 43 pubs, 36 breweries and 250 ales. Research has shown that 95% of pubs said more people came through their doors during the festival, while more than 1,000 ale trails were completed. This year was the 6th City of Ale, which started as a way to try and get people to support their locals. And finally, Norwich is well known as a real shopping destination, but until this weekend there was one outlet that was definitely missing, a store catering for all your wrestling needs. Yes, this is what it looks like inside the building on Rose Lane, which is named the WAW House. It's been taken over by the World Association of Wrestling and the famous First Family of Norwich Wrestling. The Knights are going to be selling merchandise, equipment and of course tickets for their events. It was the shop that Norwich was most certainly missing, but now that is a gap that was filled. OK, those were your business headlines for the week. So let's speak now to Chris Sargisson, the new Chief Exec of the Norfolk Chamber of Commerce. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening.
Now, new job, new role. What was the appeal for you? You're of a more entrepreneurial background. So what attracted you to actually take this role at the Chamber?
Well, the job title, which advertised for an entrepreneurial CEO. And once I started to sort of understand what their definition of entrepreneurial was, and so checked that it fitted my understanding of entrepreneurial CEO, so I knew I could deliver to the brief, then the role became more and more interesting, and that's what they've got.
So you've worked across all types of sectors. There's been sort of estate agency, there's been all kinds of different things that you've got into.
Yeah.
So what was the appeal to actually go for something so wide?
Well, my background, entrepreneurial behaviour sort of takes many forms, but I think the one that fits me most is the description of being disruptive. And disruptive, it sounds...
But actually in a positive way,
In a positive way. It sounds a bit chaotic, but actually it's a very positive thing. So on the one end of the scale, you've got entrepreneurs that create things that haven't been invented, and then the other end of the scale, you've got entrepreneurs that put money, investment capital into things and grow them. And then in the middle, you have this disruptive sector. And what disruptive entrepreneurial behaviour tends to do is it takes something which is already formed and it finds other ways to develop it and move it on. So the analogy really with some of the work that we did with the car insurance industry back in 2000 when the internet was coming along, is we created the environment that allowed car insurance to go online and develop that practice. So we didn't invent car insurance, we just found a way that it could communicate with the customer in a better way and allowed it to become more competitive and more available. And then again, that translates into a estate agency. Some of the issues that people tend to have with a state agency have always been that it's quite expensive and the service reputation hasn't been that great. So what ways can we disrupt it? So we still deliver the same end product, but we find ways of reducing its cost and we find ways of improving its service. And now you're starting to see quite a lot of the online agencies forming now where they deliver to that exact model. So translating that into the Chamber of Commerce is a fantastic organisation. It's been going for over 100 years. It delivers real value for money to its membership, and it's relied upon enormously by its membership, and I've relied upon it as well in my 20 or 25 years in business. So the disruption isn't to change what it does. The disruption is to find ways that we can actually make the relevancy of what it does appeal to more people. And if you take Norfolk as an environment where you've got lots of forming businesses, it's an area which has experienced a lot of growth and much more growth planned, particularly in the, areas like the tech sector. We want to be engaging with that sector and finding ways and synergies that we can make what we do that's relevant support them.
So I guess some people might see places like a Chamber of Commerce or any of those sort of organisations as a bit of an old boys club where everyone gets together to have a lunch and a natter.
Yeah.
But is it moving? We know it is more than that. I've been to events, I've seen it is different. Not meaning to criticise, but I guess it is different, and it's moving that forward to be more relevant to the modern era, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, the irony is that one of the comments that was made to me when I was talking to the board initially about the opportunity was that they said they wanted to move away from the image maybe of sort of grey-haired men in meetings, and what they've recruited is a grey-haired man that goes to meetings. So I don't necessarily fulfil the sort of the youthful element of it, shall we say, but the importance really of the chamber is to constantly push itself forward into environments where it thinks it can really add value. And what it does very well is talk to the people that know it. It talks and supports the people that know it, both from political agenda in supporting stuff or issues, particularly at the moment around infrastructure. As well as enabling its members to engage with situations where they may be struggling with their businesses, as well as networking. All of those skills are very, very relevant with any forming or any emerging business that's coming through now. I mean, networking is singly, probably over the last 5 years, one of the things that has accelerated more than anything. And you've got a reliance upon that kind of environment and a duty, I think, from our point of view, to start to capitalise on some of that behaviour and actually put it into a traditional space. And it is a traditional space. The Chamber of Commerce needs to hang on to its values, because that's what makes it important. So there's a need for me not to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's not a case of the membership that we've got needs to change. The membership that we've got is really valuable and important. It's the people that we think that we can support and we should be supporting in a more digital way. So
evolution rather than revolution. But when it comes to actually priorities, you mentioned infrastructure. Is that going to be a key infrastructure? Because the Chamber, one of its roles is pushing cases and lobbying particular cases that are of a priority to Norfolk businesses.
Yes, and infrastructure is on the agenda, and I think certainly into 2018 it's going to edge its way up the agenda even more. Infrastructure is not just digital backbone, but it's also better connectivity and better roads, and it's better education, and it's better support for organisations which are behaving in a digital way. But my view is that if I start building a strategy and a plan over the next 5 years for the Chamber of Commerce, an awful lot of it will rely on a level of technology and infrastructure which at the moment isn't there. So I can't achieve what I want to achieve with helping the Chamber move forward unless we start putting energy and effort into improving the sort of basic backbone really of digital communities that exist. In Norwich is thriving. We were so lucky to be able to develop the technology that we did when we were launching the early online businesses. Google was a year old. You know, it seems crazy now. But Norwich is always we were able to base a groundbreaking business in Norwich because of the understanding of technology and the evolution of some of the digital applications that were all homegrown. We didn't have to go to London. We didn't have to go further afield, and that environment is just continues to thrive. There's so many organisations out there at the moment, from Tech City to Hot Source, that we can tap into and support and help. So it's very exciting.
Exciting times. Thank you very much indeed, Chris. That is all the time we have for tonight. But do remember, you can drop us a line with your thoughts. We're on Twitter @MustardTV, and you can get the latest videos by subscribing to our YouTube channel, Norfolk Now too. Business Extra, back same time next week. My thanks to Chris and to you for watching. Have a very good night.
Norse, touching the lives of local people every day.